Yeah,
Yay. Thank you for coming, everybody. Okay, so we are with the wonderful Kimberly, who moved to Portugal solo, sight unseen, no support group. How badass is she? And she's right here to talk to. I'm so excited to connect everybody with Kimberly, and
yeah.
we're going to have a great conversation.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Thank you for asking me to be here. As I was telling Mary before we went live, this is my first live, so I'm very excited to be doing my first, being a live virgin.
Good. I'm glad you're doing it with me.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, when was what were you thinking when you made that decision to move to Portugal? Do you remember the exact kind of what was the thing that kind of pushed you over the edge? I'd love to hear
Yeah,
about.
it was a breakup. It was COVID plus a breakup.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had been researching Portugal. I'd been wanting to leave the United States for about 10 years before I did. And I'd been researching for a long time, but I wasn't ever ready. And my business was going really well. I was an acupuncturist and I was doing really well. And for
Mm-hmm.
the first time in my life, I was finally making a lot of money. And so I got stuck in that cycle of the more you make, the more you spend, the more you make, the more you want, the more you need, the more you have, the more you need to have, and all of that. And then COVID hit. And right before COVID hit, I had a partner and we had gone to Mexico because they really wanted to move to Puerto Vallarta, like 10 years down the road because they have kids. And I wasn't in love with Mexico, but I was open, I was willing. I thought, okay, but I kept talking about Portugal. And so we bought tickets to go to Portugal to just do a scouting trip or whatever. And we were going to go to Greece because that was high on my list. And then COVID hit and I said, well, I was out of work for 3 months and I realized I could live on half the amount of money and that I much preferred writing to doing acupuncture because I'd been writing the whole time that I've been doing acupuncture, whatever. So I said to them, I'm going to move closer to you. They live 40 minutes away. And I'm really excited that, I've decided to give up my apartment. And they broke up with me. So
Oh,
that was awesome. So over, over email. Over
oh,
email. Yeah. Yeah. It was great. So So I thought, I now have my whole life ahead of me and I'm not tied down. And not that I was tied down. Aw, Heather, I love you. That's my friend Heather. Um,
oh.
so I decided, it's the best time to move forward. And so I did the van thing for a year. Moved into a van for a year because that was my other option. And I had told them I want to move into a van. And they were like, you're crazy. So yeah. So I so I did that and then I moved to Portugal. But that was the impetus. That was like the real driving force.
Okay. Yeah. And then do you feel now how many years have you been there?
It'll be 3 years September 4th.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, and I wanted to ask you, what are some of the things that you absolutely love about being there and just feel like this country is what gives this to you and you haven't gotten it pretty much anywhere else?
Yeah, number one is the value system, which I do talk about because I had not realized that the most important thing in life wasn't money.
Yeah,
I had realized that myself, but I hadn't seen it modeled to me ever by my
yeah,
family.
yeah.
So, yeah, so that's what I find here is the most important thing is family, community, kindness. And I won't say helping the little old man or woman, not that we're not little men and women here, but the ones that can't really walk across the street. I won't say helping them walk across the street because I did see a guy struggling to walk across the street today. and nobody did help him, and he could barely walk. So it's not that type of it's different. It's just a family value system where people in the community where they know each other really look out for themselves, and they put their own self not I don't want to say self-interest, but self-care first. So everything is, "Oh, it'll be fine. Take a coffee. Just sit down. Oh, it'll be," and anything goes wrong, and, "No, it's fine. Everything's gonna be," it's raining, I'll say, "It's been raining for 6 months. It's hell. I hate it." "Oh, no, 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 don't say that. It's wonderful."
Oh, that's
Just like this, but they mean it. They don't mean it in a belittling way. They have this amazing way of always looking on the bright side, which is really nice and refreshing.
well, that's something we can all learn, can't we?
Yeah, 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 yeah. And be reminded of. So that's my number one favorite thing about living here that I didn't expect, and it's been easier for me. I don't want to say it's for everybody to form a
Hmm.
community, but it's been much easier for me to form community here.
I think about that every time I come back from Europe because I'm in the heart of Silicon Valley right now, and I feel like community feels easier to create when I'm in Europe, even traveling.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. Even
Mhm.
when I'm traveling too, I feel like I make that stronger and deeper and better connections.
Yeah, it's really interesting how that happens when you open yourself like that. And I just want to ask, I'm not seeing your face, but I want to make sure everybody else sees Kimberly's face. Can you see it as we're filming? I can hear you perfectly, but
That's so weird that you can't see me
yeah,
because I can see you. I wonder,
oh
are you?
good. Well, it's weird. I've got my keyboard in front of your face and I don't know how to get rid of it.
Oh,
This has
well, I
never
don't know.
what?
Nobody's commented whether they can see me or not. Can you see me? I'm just
Yeah,
asking them if they
yeah.
can
Let's make sure that they can see
write
you.
in the write in the chat if you can see. Yeah, I don't know. I had a really interesting experience in Sintra where I met this woman that was running circles around me and really, I mean, oh, okay, good. Okay. Thank
Good.
you. Thank
Okay.
you. They can
Thank you.
see.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And, running up a hill, running down a hill, and I was barely keeping up with her. And and finally I said to her, we were sharing an Uber together. And I finally said to her, "Can I ask your age? Do you mind if I ask your age?" And she said, "Oh, not at all. I'm 79." And, it's just that kind of thing that's always what you need in the moment when I'm thinking, "Oh, I'm 59, maybe I can't do this, that, or the other." And so I just feel like when you're traveling or when I'm traveling anyway, I feel like the moment that I need a little I have a question or an issue or something that bothers me, at that moment I get an answer.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
and let's talk about that aging thing because I'm 69
I saw that. I love that.
and I feel like I'm experiencing the best part of my life starting in the past well, actually starting since I started full-time travel. And it's such a myth how people see that like, I don't feel this in Europe, so this is why I think it's interesting. It's much more ageist here in the United States, I feel,
Is
and when I go to Europe, nobody asks my age ever unless you're just curious, like you asked that nice lady, and, it's more of like a personal you're a friend and you ask, but it's sort of, like, forbidden to say your name here, I mean, your age here, that's why I like to say it so much, and what have you found do you feel like it's very different concerning ageism there in Europe?
yeah. Yeah, it doesn't come up. I have really good friends that are in their early 20s, And
Yeah.
I will often volunteer my age, but people don't ask.
Yeah.
But I'll say, I'll do the, well, I'm old. No, you're not. And then I'll say my age, and then they'll, oh, but yeah, they don't care. They don't stop being friends with me. I don't act my age, so.
Yeah, I don't either. Sometimes I think I'm younger than my 39-year-old son.
Aw.
See, that's interesting. Yeah, it's fun to have friends from different ages. That's absolutely true.
I love it. Yeah, it's great. It's helpful, I think.
Yeah. And then what would you say if there are any cons?
Oh, there's cons. There's plenty of cons.
Okay, let me hear
There's a
about.
lot of cons. There's this many cons. I'm writing that next. Well, the article that goes out tonight is not, but next week's will be. So, and I often say I could speak for an hour just about the sidewalk issues. So there. So there's a lot of everything here is different. And I
Yeah.
think people that have traveled know that. Everything anywhere is completely 100% different from the United States
Mm,
specifically. And so, just little things like uh, you're walking down the sidewalk, because I like to use sidewalk examples, and there's a person on their bicycle, and you have to get out of the way. And that does not happen in California.
oh yeah.
They would get a ticket, you know.
Uh-huh.
So
Right.
little things that I don't know if that's so much a con as something that is just different and a little bit of an inconvenience or takes a little bit of getting used to.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't even think that's really a con, right? It's walking across the street when there's a zebra crossing. Like I live on a really busy street, and right out front there's a zebra crossing. That's what they call them here, but a
Oh,
crosswalk.
okay.
And the cars are legally supposed to stop, but they don't. They don't stop. They just don't. They don't
Yeah.
stop. So, I have to take the trash out, and I have to walk across the street to take out my trash. And that's a con for sure. I have to go, down. It's really only 3 flights. I'm really on the second floor, but first floor in Europe is floor 0. So
Yeah.
it's really 3 floors, but it's really 2 flights for each floor. So it's really 6 flights of stairs. So I have to go down 6 flights of stairs with all these bags of recycling and trash, and then, on the corner with all these bags, and then try to get across this busy highway where nobody will stop. There's some growing pains.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest con for me, well, there's 2. One I never, ever, ever talk about, ever, because it's very controversial. So I will talk about the other one first. And I'm not afraid to talk about the first one. I just don't. So the
Nope.
other one is the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
And and there's bureaucracy everywhere, 100%. No, of course. But just as an example, I applied for my driver's license here over 6 months ago.
Oh, good.
And well, yes, but I still haven't received it. So I had to turn in my driver's license, my California driver's license.
Oh.
And yeah, and I'm waiting, and I still don't have my Portuguese driver's license. So
Now, like
that,
this, do you have to take a physical exam like they go through? It's
no,
a hands-on. You don't have to do that.
no, no.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Go ahead.
There's some stuff where if you're over 60, and oh, thank you, Gabriella. It is funny but true. Yes. Um yeah, there's a couple things where if you're over 60, supposedly you have to take the language test in Portuguese, but then there's apparently a certain amount of time when that you don't have to if you just arrived. So I'm a little unsure of exactly what it is, but I'm still waiting for my Portuguese driver's license, and my temporary expired. So that's an issue. So I have to go down to the office and wait in line for 4 hours and hope that they will extend it. I mean, they will, but it's the whole doing that and getting there, and yeah. And then of course my visa expired last December. And so I'm on an extension that they've given everybody whose visa expired until now. It's until October 15th, but they're behind about a year.
Wow.
So, yeah. So the bureaucracy, I think, is the biggest, so far from what I've seen, is the biggest con, I would say. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. That is a
And
long time to wait.
yeah. And then the other one that I'm going to adjust the camera for a second. The other one that I don't talk about is the way that the men treat women here. And
Oh, I wondered about that. Is it the controversial part?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not all men, of course. Nothing is 100%, but it's a lot, and it's
Okay.
mostly men over 40 that grew up during Salazar, who was the dictator here.
Mm,
So it's quite misogynistic.
mhm.
There is no right of way for a woman. You're walking down the sidewalk. If you get in the way of a man, he will let you know. You must
Wow.
yield. You must yield to the men as a
Oh,
woman. You must. You must. Yeah. They will not open a door for you. They will not. And no, I shouldn't say they. It's not all men. It is not all men. There are some men that are absolutely wonderful. There are plenty of men that are wonderful, but it's the few, or I would say it's the majority over 40, that make it a little bit difficult for
yeah.
for for us, for women. So,
Mm,
that was a really it's still a really hard thing for me, honestly.
yeah.
Like, I don't
Oh,
like.
yeah. No, I've experienced that in India and Mexico, and I don't think it's something I'm going to ever feel differently about.
No, no.
Do you think it has something to do now, you explained it perfectly, but I'm thinking about, just stuff I've read about, local people being upset about a lot of foreigners coming to
Yeah,
raise prices and stuff, like, what's your view of that since you live there and
yeah,
you.
yeah. I mean, I don't think that that's why that the men are acting that way. But oh my God, Frank Zamacona, no way. It was
Oh,
you. Oh my God, we used to work together. I love you so much. I was thinking about him
oh,
just the other
that's
day.
cool.
Aw, I was just
I'm
thinking about him.
glad. Yeah, and
No,
everybody feel free to ask, Kimberly questions too.
or you questions, or Mary questions.
Yeah.
So what was the question you just asked me about?
Oh, so the question was I was trying to, find out more about because here's what I experienced.
Oh, the way people feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you find out that not really what the media says, and so I wondered what your viewpoint was.
Yeah, I think that it's both. Yeah, machismo is prevalent in all Iberian-based societies. Okay, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, of
Although I
course.
must say, I have a Spanish partner, and and he's lovely. So I'm just saying,
So it's
but anyway, so yeah, the for the most part, I don't get it. I haven't seen to my face any negativity. And I do try to talk about it a lot, and I keep an open conversation going with my Portuguese friends because I want to know how people are feeling. And
yeah,
I've heard, it's funny because I've said, like, to strangers, I've said, "Oh, you must hate all of us Americans coming in, and it's
yeah,
like we're taking over and we're raising the prices." And then the weird thing is, when they're in uh in conversation with me, I get a response that's positive.
huh,
So one gentleman said to me that I just talked to on the street about this, and he said, it used to be so dangerous in Porto. He said you couldn't go down to the Ribeira, which is the riverfront, and be safe there. And he said
wow,
now that there's so many Americans coming in there, I mean, it's gentrification, right? Really, let's call it for what it is, which
yes,
sucks. So, but he didn't even know that term. So he just said, I feel happy that it is now safer, and it is a better place for the Portuguese to live. And
huh.
we are not as afraid to go out at night or whatever.
Oh,
S-
nice.
Yeah, but that's one person's point of view. So I do hear, it's mixed. It's really mixed. I just try to make sure that people are not flaunting money and not walking around saying, "Oh my God, this is so cheap." That's a horrible thing. Just don't ever say that. That's just disrespectful. And not overpaying for apartments or overcharging for stuff. But there's people from all over. Immigration, it's huge. I was just in a meetup the other day, and it's, people from Israel, just people from all over are coming here.
Yeah. Well, see, it just seems to be such an attractive place. I still haven't visited. So, when you read and see YouTubes, I'm on YouTube a lot, and, um, you see, it looks really wonderful. And then it's never really what you hear about in the media. That's why I wanted to get your take on it, because
Yeah.
everything is so distorted now that just,
Yeah. Well, I mean, prices have gone up. I always say prices have quadrupled since I've been here. Or
wow.
not even since I've been here, since the year before I arrived. So, because I was looking at them. So, yeah, apartments, rentals, specifically rentals. And it's expensive now in the rental market in the city, in the center of a city. And there's only two major cities. So, but I think that I think that more areas are going to develop and more people are going to move into the smaller areas. And I'm hoping that people will really take their time to learn Portuguese, the language and the culture. And that's my wish, because I don't like yeah, I don't like it if people are just coming here and having living in an expat bubble. I don't think
Yeah.
that that's cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, hey. Hi, Chris. Thanks for coming over. And thanks for coming, Tom. Thanks for joining. Um, yeah, it's yeah, I wanted to ask you about the language, because I did go to Brazil for a month a
Mm.
while back, and I can understand some. Yes, I hear the Portuguese is a hard language to learn, and I was trying to learn it, and I was surprised, but I liked it that a lot of Portuguese know Spanish, because when I
That's
hit Brazil, I'd been in 5 months in South America. And so, I knew Spanish pretty well, but how hard has it been about the language? Because you've been there for what? For 3 years now.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Language is not my forte, and
Uh-huh.
it's hard. And I still try to study every day. I still have a teacher. I still have class every week. I went through A1, A2 level, which is the beginner level, in a classroom setting, 6 hours a week for a year.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But if you do that, that was a path to citizenship, and now they've extended it from 5 years to 10. So, well, it hasn't passed yet. We'll see in September, but I'm pretty
Maybe,
sure it'll
maybe
pass.
won't. Hey, I'm glad that you got your renewal, because I did read
No,
that you were for the visa
no, I
thing.
have no, I haven't gotten it. No, I haven't gotten
Oh,
it.
I
Yeah,
thought but they said something about an extension, so you don't
yeah,
have to.
yeah. It's extended till October 15th.
Okay.
Yeah, but yes, it's a hard language to learn. But so that's my feeling. Like, I live here, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna make every effort to learn the language. I have a friend who's a Finnish friend who's from Finland, and she's my accountability partner. So we study separately every day, and we check in every day to see, like, have you studied? And yesterday I did not study, and because I have a bunch of deadlines because I'm doing way too much work, but yeah, I study as often as possible, and I like it. I think it's really fun.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's a beautiful language. It's interesting. I don't know. It's just I'm enjoying the journey of learning it. and
Yeah.
practicing. Yeah.
You know, what helps a lot, I find, and I'm sure you've seen this too, is that when I'm trying to learn Italian in Italy, people are so nice about you getting it wrong
Yeah.
and understanding about that. And I haven't, I mean, that's just so welcoming to be treated that way.
It is. It is. And they appreciate it if you make an effort,
Uh-huh.
even if if you're going to stay there, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like anywhere you go, you need to learn language, even if you're only going for a month, 3 months, you should learn as much as possible. You
That's
should
true.
learn the pleasantries. Am I going to be fluent? Probably not, but I don't know. I have a friend who's been here 20 years and she's fluent. So
Oh, great.
maybe, I don't know.
I think you could. I mean, I think well, for myself, I know I have to be immersed in it. It just doesn't hit me the same way if I'm doing some online thing. But when I'm actively in this awkward situation where I'm like searching for the right word in another country, it's a much better experience to be
Yeah.
in it rather than, like you're having this one-to-one conversation. I mean, you're doing that every single day, so you probably
Well,
will be fluent.
not every day. I'm definitely, because I'm not getting out every day unless it's to pick up my dog and drop off my dog, because I do work a lot, a lot, a lot. But yeah, but I'm doing it as much as possible. Several times a week.
Well, let's talk about too. I'm so impressed that, you're learning so much and staying young because that keeps you young. It's neuroplasticity in your brain.
That's true. That is true. You're right.
And, I don't know if you've been asked this a lot, but I'm really curious about the day-to-day practical. You have a dog. I fell in love with the picture of your dog and finding an apartment. Um, just making your work life mesh with the practical reality of living in Porto. How does
Yeah.
that kind of all pan out just in terms of, is that's not a very clear question.
I wasn't trying to
Oh, okay. Now I got a better way to ask.
answer.
I was really impressed you took your dog because I've researched getting the dog there. And then I started thinking about finding an apartment, because sometimes in these different countries it's really difficult to find an apartment. And so that must have been an adventure to find the apartment that you're living in and get the right Wi-Fi and
Okay,
you know
so the dog that I brought died
oh,
here. So thank you, but he was old. He was 16. He had a
oh,
great life. Uh,
nice.
he died in this apartment. So he made it here, and then he did not. But now I have a Portuguese rescue dog. So I rescued her she was found in a forest in Braga, which is about an hour east of here. And yeah, so she's a little crazy, or as the Portuguese word is maluca. So I get to walk down the street and everybody wants to pet her. And I say, "Está maluca," like, please. And they still pet her anyway, but, sure, try to, but she'll, act like she's going to bite off their face. So they stop quickly. But but she doesn't. She's never bitten anybody, but she acts like she's gonna. So she's a sweetie and she's a lot of work. And so she's in daycare all day. And that's something I would never be able to afford in the US. I think it was $50 a day last time I was there with my dog when I lived there, and that was just for a day. I don't even think that was an overnight. And this is 190 euros a month for 5 days a week from 8:30 in the morning until 7 at night. So,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, so and it's great. She's loves it. She's got all these friends. It's the cutest thing ever. And they say she's the sweetest dog there, and they call her the greeter, and she goes up to all anyway, she's amazing. So with the apartment, I got lucky. I made I was in a group called, which I highly recommend to everybody. I don't know if are you on Facebook? I'm not on Facebook anymore, but I
Yeah,
was.
still on Facebook.
Okay, it's called Digital Nomads Beyond 50.
Okay. Good, good.
I think
I
that would be a good group for you. Yeah. So it's amazing. It's amazing. And the woman who started it, Siobhan, she was my first guest, came and stayed with me. And she's a wonderful, fabulous human being and also travels full time, same age as you. So she, had this group and I met this other woman that was moving to Porto at the same time as me. I didn't really meet her, but we had talked a couple times in the group and I got, I think we had exchanged WhatsApps. We must have. And I got a text from her saying my friend's landlady has an open apartment and oh, Chris is in the group too. Yay! Best group ever. So it's this woman, Cindy, said, my friend's landlady has an apartment for rent if you're interested. And I said, yes. And yeah, thank you for writing that. So we started texting and the landlady said, when can you come see the apartment? I said, I'm in Lisbon. She said, it's in Porto, come tomorrow. And I said, okay. So I said, can we put it off? She said, well, there's somebody else looking and I'm going to give it to them. And I was like, okay, I'll be right there. So I came up to Porto with my dog and toured the apartment and she was refurbishing it. And I'm not a visual person and I'm so not visual. I actually have something called aphantasia, which is a whole nother thing, but it just means I'm not visual. And so I couldn't see what it was going to look like. And it was torn down to the studs and it
Oh,
looked like a murder scene. That's what I always say. And it was it was disgusting. Like the wallpaper looked like Stephen King horror movie. It was just
yep. I've
and
been places like that.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I hadn't. So I was like, what's happening? So I walked through it, couldn't tell what it was going to be like. And we got back to the front and I said, when do I have to decide by? And she said, right now.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh. And I said, okay, will you accept me? And she said, only because of your dog.
Oh, that's great.
So yes. So it's not impossible to rent places with dogs.
Not,
It makes it harder. I have a client actually right now who's having a hard time finding a place, but obviously this was a weird situation. It was more word of mouth and friend of a friend or whatever. And my landlady loves dogs. So I had to wait 4 months, 3.5 months for them to refurbish it.
yeah.
And I had to find places to live. So
So temporary. And so that must have been difficult to find those temporary places before moving into your apartment.
it was really hard. I came over here on a tour, which is called, I butcher the name in Portuguese, but it's like terminado de responsibility or something. And
Mm.
it's basically saying that somebody will say that they're responsible for you and that they have a place for you to stay for 1 year so I could get my visa. Well, it's a guy who started a new company. I paid him for this. And then 2 weeks before I came out, he pulled the apartment and said, no, you can't. You can't have
Oh,
it.
oh my goodness.
Yes. So I was scrambling. It was a nightmare. And I, of course, had to get an Airbnb. And anyway, that's a whole nother story. But I ended up going from Airbnb to Airbnb
Yeah.
for several months. But then I had an acquaintance, this woman I had only met once, like almost 20 years earlier. And she lived in the Algarve. And I
Yeah.
was able to get a hold of her through some friends
Nice.
and asked her if I could stay there. And she said yes. And so she had a caravan. So it was going from my van to a caravan, which was fine. Like, who cares? And so I stayed in her caravan in the Algarve for 6 weeks. That was great.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, well, that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I do find that housing, either short term or long term, is never what you expect it to be.
Right.
And I found that I find things when I'm boots on the ground outside of the platforms, once I start making connections, just like, you did with people that you knew. So, I mean, I recommend that people try to do that. Not everything has to be done online before. You just have to have an open mind about what you're going to find, but I'm glad that you got something and that apartment worked out. And how has the renovation
Oh,
gone?
yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, nothing works, but I mean, the toilet doesn't flush. So, Mary, haven't replied to my message. I don't know what that is. That's a message below that somebody wrote. So yeah, the toilet doesn't flush, and the toilet, you can't put the toilet paper in the toilet. And it's, there's some issues. I had the sink clog. And my landlady won't pay to fix anything. So I have to pay for everything. And I have to
Oh,
find and I have to find the fixer in Portuguese, not speaking the language fully and not knowing what to look for. And yeah, there's a lot of challenges. I'm on a super busy, loud street. Nothing's perfect,
okay.
but I
This is
love
very
my apartment. I love it.
flexible of you.
What was that? Sorry.
You're very flexible. I wanted to highlight that
Yeah.
because I think
Thank you.
yeah,
Awesome.
you are. I mean, I think you have to decide what are your things that you can't deal with. Like for me, I found that Mexico was a very loud country.
I've heard this. I've heard this.
And I've spent a lot of time there, and the 24/7 dogs barking, and there's no rules about construction or anything like that. I mean, you're going to find that anywhere, but it was particularly bad there, although I love the country. I
Yeah.
think you kind of have to decide what's your deal breaker, but then stuff happens that you don't expect. I think this is good to talk about because it's like you expect a toilet to flush, but when it doesn't, what are you going to do? And my question is, I bet it's a challenge to find people to fix stuff when you would like to have it fixed
Oh,
and not
ah,
in English. I mean, that's a big
ah,
challenge right there.
nightmare. Yeah. Yeah, that was really hard. Well, the toilet I paid for the plumber to come out twice, and that time she hired the plumber, and they were like, "There's nothing we can do." And they said, "Stop putting your toilet paper in the toilet." And I said, "Well, I don't put my toilet paper in the toilet. I figured that out early on." So I just live with it. I have two bathrooms, and one toilet
Oh,
doesn't really flush very well, and the other one flushes great, but I still don't put toilet paper in it because you never know.
yeah.
And yeah, you got to roll with the punches. Exactly. Thank you. So yeah,
Gotta roll with it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So and I'm always looking at I'm an optimist. So the cup's always half full. So I always want to look at the positives of
Yeah.
everything. So yeah, my sink didn't work. It didn't drain and I couldn't get a plumber out here for a week. Funnily enough, I found the plumber on TaskRabbit.
Oh my gosh, it works in Portugal.
Yes. And I had talked to like four other plumbers. I'd gotten all of these referrals, and none of them could come out for another week or two. And I'm like, no, I need you now. I'm tired of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You gotta, So this guy came over from TaskRabbit. He didn't speak any English, of course. And which, I'm not expecting him to, of course, but he couldn't fix it the first day. He said, "I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to fix it, but I'm not going to charge you." And I said, "Oh, no, 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 no. You are going to charge me. I am going to pay you for it." Like, no. He goes, "But I didn't fix it." I said, "It doesn't matter. This is your time. You deserve to be paid for your time." So it was lovely, and he fixed it. He did something that I don't think he was supposed to do. He actually removed a pipe that I don't think he should have removed, but I okayed it because at that point, my landlady didn't care. I wanted the sink fixed. It works now. It does make some strange gurgling noises, but it works.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
sometimes I turn the water on in the sink and it comes out brown.
Hmm.
That's happened a couple times. So you got to make it work. Or you just stay in your, happy, not happy, but your cushy apartment or house in the United States with your ice maker and say, "I'm not going to do it." It's like, I would rather be in Portugal. So it's the give and take, right?
Well, I think that's a very good point you just made. And I've been thinking and writing a lot about comfort being a trap. And I think this is the main thing that keeps people from taking a risk
Yeah.
and even traveling or, well, moving, doing something completely unfamiliar. I think that's at the basis of it. And I think when you can really confront that, like you have, I mean, you've confronted a lot in terms of everything in your life has changed and you're taking on this whole new dimension and you're still there years later and you love it. And there are, pros and cons, of course. But you're handling it so well. And I love I you just got the best attitude. Oh, I wanted to ask you, how have you discovered different places in Portugal, or do you like to travel around Europe? What's your have you discovered some places that maybe you might see yourself even living like in Braga or another place, or is it
Yeah,
more
not
like,
Braga, not Braga, but yeah,
okay, I
yeah,
know nothing about it, so
yeah.
I just
A lot of people love it. It's the third largest city in Portugal, and I did stay there for a couple weeks before I moved in here because
okay.
I already had the Airbnb for there, so I just and I loved it. And I always felt like if I'd gone there first, I might have ended up there, but I'm glad I didn't. My favorite town, and I just actually just before this call met with another client who's looking at that as her number one town is it's pronounced Stubble, but it's spelled Setúbal, but it's pronounced Stubble.
Mhm.
And that's my favorite town so far that I've of all the places I don't want to say it's my favorite of all the places I've been to, but it's my favorite to maybe live
Okay.
because it's warmer. It's 30 to 40 minutes depending on traffic south of Lisbon. And I like that it's near the Lisbon airport. I like that it has neither nicer weather. I loved it when I went there. It's got a really cool vibe. There's a nice expat community as well. And there's vegan restaurants. I just happen to be vegan, so that's important to me. And but and there's a lot of places that I love in Portugal, but I might end up staying in Porto because I have my community here now.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at maybe going to southern Spain in the winter for a couple months. Just and my dream is to get a van here. I don't have the funds right now, but that's really my plan eventually is to get that. And then that way it's easier for me to travel through Europe. But I really want to just get out of here for the winter. I'm going to go back to the US for 1 month during the winter, but yeah, and there's a lot of cute little towns south of Porto that I like. So I've been looking at some of those, and then another town on the coast near Lisbon is Ericeira, and I really like that town a lot. And then
Oh,
there's towns north. I love Vila de Conde. I love Viana do Castelo, but they're north, and so they're colder. They're going to be, and they're right on the water, so they're going to be. And I don't want to move anywhere colder.
yeah. 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 When I was in Sicily last, I was meeting people that were doing the van life in Italy, and it's really interesting. I mean, I think it sounds so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
somebody doing it for a couple of years here in a box van, and there's a great I forget Van Life Ruminations. He's on Substack. He's amazing, and him and his wife are in a van traveling around Europe.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, cool. Van life
yeah,
rumination. And
yeah.
tell me again the name Steuben. How do you spell that? I'm going to
Oh,
put it
Stubal, Setubal,
Setub.
Al. Like it's
Okay.
pronounced spelled Setubal, but it's pronounced Stubal.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
thank
yeah.
you. Oh yeah, you just oh yeah, okay. You typed it in. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
There's an accent missing, but that's okay.
okay. Yeah. Not knowing. Let me ask you about what is your work and how you make it work in your life in Portugal.
Yeah. Okay. So when I first moved here, I was writing novels. I published 20 novels and under a pen name. So because they're spicy paranormal and
Nice. I
yeah.
like it.
Yeah. And so that's what I was doing when I first moved here. I was still publishing, writing, publishing. And then and I wasn't doing it very very much. I had slowed down. I wasn't really gung ho about it. And so I started a Substack and then but I didn't go full force on my Substack until about a little over a year ago. And then that's when I decided that I really wanted to write, because I've written fiction and nonfiction my whole life. And I decided that I really wanted to focus more on nonfiction, which is weird because the last 15 years I've written fiction. So it's a totally different. And no, it does not cover my costs. As a matter of fact, right now, somebody asked if it's a hot niche for writing. Does it cover my costs? I'm lucky if I make $30 a month off of 20 books right now. So
Yeah.
just saying. So I had a moment where I was doing acupuncture full time and I was writing full time, and I was in a sub niche, and I took off, and I was making a ton of money on my books, and I thought, oh, this is so easy. I'm going to take a 2-year break. And I lost my momentum and I lost all my readers and I lost everything. And when I went back to it and I wrote a book every other month for a year, I couldn't get the traction again. It was too late. So it taught me about momentum, which
Okay.
I am so happy to have learned,
Yeah.
because now I have a little momentum on Substack and I don't want to let that go.
Yeah.
Right. So now,
Yeah.
yeah. So I learned the hard way. And I think it's really important. It was an important lesson. So I started writing on Substack. I wasn't looking to make money. And so all my stuff is free. Everything is free. It will always be free. I will never charge. That's how I feel. I'm not saying anybody else should follow in my footsteps. I'm just saying that's how I feel, and that's what it is for me. So my articles are free, my podcast free, but people do donate. And I say, if you want to, you can join and donate. So they donate. And then there are quite a few people, which I'm so thankful for. And then, and then I have the buy me a coffee. So I make a little bit that way. And then I started a class, an expat class timing is important, Chris. Thank you. That was a comment. So the expat class is teaching people how to move abroad on a budget. And it's not all focused on being on a budget, but that is a portion of the class.
Yeah.
And so people are buying the class. It's not finished yet, unfortunately, but because of that, I have it at a low fee. And then everybody who joins it at the lower price will get the full class when it's finished, and up the price, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? And then, and then I have consulting. So I started consulting, and I didn't plan. And I was going to ask you if you had planned, because I did not plan. People started asking me.
Yeah.
And
That's the same way I got into it.
okay. Yeah. So that's what I had no plans to do that, but people were asking for it. So I do that. And that's going, it's going pretty well right now. It's up and down, but right now it's doing well. And then through Substack, this woman came up to me on Substack. He just not like came up to me, but you know what I mean. And
Yep.
and and asked me if I wanted to write for International Living magazine. And
Oh,
so
great.
it was amazing, and I'm so thankful. So I said yes, of course. And so I am now writing for International Living magazine, and they asked me if I would make an intro video for them. And as Frank Zamacona can attest, my background is in television. So I do have a 15-year background in television. And so I made the video, and then their editor happened to be on vacation. And so I edited the video as well. And I do have a background in editing, small. And they were so excited that now I am doing video projects for them.
Oh,
So I am
great.
doing a lot of on camera. So then my editor at International Living referred me to somebody else that they have a new project, and then they just hired me. And so it's kind of snowballing. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Oh
So
my,
I'm doing,
great.
yeah. So I'm doing a lot of work for them, and it's amazing. And I'm so grateful, and I can't even believe it. And I'm pitching myself every day. And then I decided, because wasn't doing enough, 15 hours a day. It's not enough for me. So so I started a YouTube channel. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But I've already gotten one client from the YouTube channel. I got my first troll. I was like, I've arrived. So,
Yeah. It can be contentious on YouTube. I've been on
yeah.
since 2009.
Oh, okay. So, are you
Oh, yeah.
monetized?
What?
Are you monetized?
Yeah, but there's not, I mean, it's mostly United States audience, but just with the monetization of the ads, it doesn't make very much. But what it has done, because now it's over 1 million views,
Nice.
um,
Nice.
it's gotten me clients
Yeah.
for writing and other projects, consulting. So, and even someone who was in the television news reporting industry in United States came over when I lived in Hawaii and did a photography retreat with me.
Oh, that's
So,
amazing.
yeah, so things have, gone well just
Yeah.
being on there for
Right.
so long.
Right. That's great. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, I've got over 1,000 videos on there now, and it's about travel and life and reinventing yourself. And I didn't even know what YouTube was when I first started in 2009. I'm like, what is this? I started in India
Wow.
on the
That's
Ganga
a long
River.
time ago.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And it was
Good
just,
for you.
starting.
That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I learned as I went along, and it's changed a lot, but
Yeah.
I'm glad I started when I did and didn't think too much about it, because it was just fun.
Yeah.
And my first video was like me with a couple of cows
That's so cool.
in India.
That's great.
It was a pitch for a travel agency to
Uh,
hire me in Australia to do I didn't get it, but it was a really fun video to do.
that's great. I love that.
Yeah. So, YouTube has been good for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like it. Yeah. That's awesome.
But, you're doing so many great things that are fun and interesting and international living. I wrote a couple articles for them. Several.
Yay.
Yeah, they're really, they must be fun to work with.
Yeah. They are. Yeah. Well, if you've written articles, you've worked with them. Yeah. They're great.
Yeah, well, I was writing, and this was a while back when I lived in Guatemala. They wanted me to do. I did one on Belize, living in Belize, and one on living in Guatemala, and that was fun. But I think the video would be even funner because are you doing like videos of Porto, and how do you? That sounds exciting.
Yeah, there's a couple right now. I'm doing a lot of talking head videos because
Okay.
they're launching this new product, and they wanted me to do specific information for the product. And then I do have a video coming up that I pitched that's going to be a little bit of a slog to shoot. So it's going to be all the expat neighborhoods, or the neighborhoods that expats can move into in Porto. And
Oh,
that'll be a walk
fun!
street video. So
You know what? I think that's so beneficial and helpful for people because I want
yeah.
to say, when I was in Sheffield, Sicily last time, I did a walk around my neighborhood and it got so many views. And I didn't expect it. And so I think I'll be, what's the name of your channel so people can know to go to it?
Well, this will be on International Living, that one.
Oh,
But
nice.
my channel, which I'm hopefully I'm trying to get a video out tonight, but then hopefully there's a video coming out, hopefully on Friday, about just going to the market. Because I feel like these are the things I could not figure out. So I'm doing
Yeah.
videos that I couldn't figure out to hopefully help other people. So it's expat, everything's expat on a budget. So all one word, expat on a budget is my YouTube channel. And yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Because I going to the market is really fun. I like to do videos of that
Yeah,
myself.
yeah, yeah.
My Mary Bartnikowski, and it comes right up. If you put Mary Bart in, it'll come right up in the search bar. So,
Okay.
one- guys, I think we're going to be wrapping up in the next couple of minutes. If you have another question before we go, or what would you like to say before we sign off?
Well,
Like,
someone said I can't imagine how hard it is without family in a foreign country, and I'll just address that for a second.
okay, let's
I
do
am
that.
so happy to be away from my family. I part of it part of the reason I moved here is because I'm as far away from my family as I could possibly be. So, not everybody's got a tight family like this. So yeah, so I'm one of those people that I really have always believed in found family, and I've always made my friends or the people around me, my community, my found family. And that's like my heart, right? So I have a stronger community here and a stronger, I feel like family than I've ever had in the US. Although Heather, who's also, I think, on here, I really feel like I would like to say I look at her as my surrogate mom, but I don't talk to her enough for her to really be my surrogate mom, but I wish she was. And whenever I go to LA, I try to see her. And I do have many people that I love, of course, and adore in the rest of the world, but my blood family, not so much. So, and
Well,
my sister's moving to France in the next 2 months, so southern France. So I'll be close to her. So it's fine.
you know, interesting point though to bring up. I didn't talk about family, and I think I like what you had to say because everybody has a different relationship with their family, and I think it kind of gets down to what is it that's a real priority for you, and how often can you get back to see people, or how often they can come and see you if you do have a closer knit family. I mean, it's certainly been something that I've thought about myself because I have a sisters, and my son is here. He was living in Nepal for 12 years, so
I saw that. That's so cool.
yeah. So I went there 6 times.
Yeah.
And we had fun meeting in different countries. So I gotta say, it doesn't always mean that you
No.
have to be in the same place.
No.
You can live in different places.
Oh yeah. Like my friend Siobhan that I was saying that has the Beyond Digital Nomads Beyond 50 Facebook group. Her she's like this with her daughter. They are like best friends. They talk almost every single day on
Yeah.
the phone, and they do WhatsApp video, and they're so close. And then the daughter travels to see her, and she travels to see her daughter, and they meet in different places, and it's really amazing. So
We did
that's
that.
cool.
We
Yeah.
would meet in different countries and we had a lot of fun. And actually, we're not doing that now. And
Oh,
I
you're not?
miss it. I
Oh,
miss it. Well, I can go see him. He's right down the street right now, but it's like he's busy
okay, yeah.
with his life. I'm busy. So it's like sometimes when you live in different countries, you end up seeing each other more.
Right. 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 That is true. Right.
It's
Aw.
absolute.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
positively, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. I just put up my keyboard to answer somebody, and now I don't see myself, so it's fine. But just to
Yeah,
put that, I think
I
that's how
know.
it works.
See, isn't this weird? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
glad that we could do this because it's been such a great thing to be able to talk to
Yeah.
Kimberly. I hope I can meet you someday and uh,
Thank you.
we can
Thank
have an
you.
in real life time together and laugh and have a drink.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't drink, but to have a coffee,
Whatever drink
have a
is,
different kind of drink. Yeah.
yeah,
Have a tea, have a water.
yeah. I drink means anything to me. I'm open to whatever. So yeah, so it's been such a
Thank
delight.
you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having me, Mary. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And it's been really fun. My first live. So my
Oh,
cherry's popped.
good.
So there we go.
Yeah, make sure that you subscribe to Kimberly and come on over to my Mary Bartnikowski love to have you over there, and then we can stay in touch that way because there's a lot of great information on your expat on a budget. I was reading it, and I've been reading it for the past month, and
Aw,
there's a lot of information.
well,
Yeah,
yours too. It's that there's
Thank-
so many amazing people on Substack.
there's
We could
so
just
many.
spend the rest of our lives there. It's just
Yes, you
incredible.
Well, you know what I gotta say about the YouTube thing, there's a lot you're in this global thing, and there's you can, get trolls and stuff, but there's some nice people on it too, but on Substack, it's like everybody is just willing to jump on and talk and share experiences and make connections. I mean, I hope everybody stays in touch because it's been really fun today.
Yeah, it has.
Thank you so much, Kimberly.
Thank
You
you.
are such a kick-ass woman, and I respect you.
Aw, thank you. I feel the same way about you. I hope to meet you in person someday. I hope you come visit.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I would love to. You are
Yeah,
great. I can't wait to talk to you in person.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm going to go pick up my dog now.
Okay, thank
Mwah. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.